There's a particular kind of heartbreak that knocks the wind out of you. It's not the argument that ends badly or the quiet drifting apart. It's the moment you realize the person you love has chosen someone else. It can feel like a betrayal, a referendum on your worth, and a crushing final chapter. When that happens, the advice that sounds the most impossible is also the most important. If she chooses another man, let her go. Letting her go does not mean you weren't serious, that your feelings were shallow, or that the love you shared didn't matter. It means you're choosing dignity over desperation, reality over fantasy, and a future over a fight you can't win. It's not defeat, it's wisdom. And if you let it, this pain can shape you into a steadier, stronger, kinder version of yourself. This video is not about blame. It's not about shaming her or glorifying stoicism. It's about grasping what you can control, honoring your self-respect, and navigating the acute storm of loss in a way that gives you back your life. Why it happened is less important than what you do next. You will want to know why. Your mind will loop through theories. Was I not enough? What does he have that I don't? How could she do this? You might pick apart texts, replay moments, and look for clues in every silence. You're trying to make pain manageable by making it explainable. But closure's cruel trick is that even if you got every answer, it wouldn't erase the ache. The truth is that attraction and choice sit at the intersection of timing, chemistry, values, readiness, and circumstance. People choose relationships for reasons that are often subconscious and complex. Maybe she wanted something new. Maybe she saw a future with him she couldn't see with you. Maybe her attachment style sought a different kind of security. Maybe she made a mistake. The reasons matter less than the outcome. She chose differently. Accepting that fact without denial, bargaining, or self-punishment is the first layer of letting go. The question that matters most now is not, why did she choose him? But who will I choose to be in response? Dignity is love with boundaries. Letting go is not passive. It's an active practice of setting boundaries that protect your mental and emotional health. Dignity means you do not chase someone who has clearly stepped away. You do not campaign for your worth. You do not audition for a love that's been withdrawn. You can make your feelings known once if it feels right, honestly, calmly, without pressure. But then you step back. You do not strategize texts. You do not monitor her life. You do not triangulate through friends. Dignity is not coldness. It is clarity. It's saying, I love you. I wanted this to work. I'm hurt. But I respect your decision and I respect myself enough to step away. And that sentence, even if you only say it to yourself, is a cornerstone. It lets you grieve without erasing yourself. Consider how you'd counsel a friend. You would tell him to take care of his mind, stop doom-scrolling, protect his sleep, eat something decent, move his body, speak to people who love him. You would tell him that he is not a backup plan and not a project. Apply that same standard to yourself. The behavior you choose now is your self-respect in motion. Pain is a teacher, not a sentence. The pain will be sharp. There will be mornings that feel impossible and nights that feel endless. You'll think about calling. You'll draft confessions you'll never send. You'll find yourself narrating your heartbreak in your head, making meaning, writing the story of what happened. This is normal. Grief is the cost of caring. But pain, left unattended, curdles into bitterness or obsession. You have to metabolize it. Metabolizing pain means feeling it without letting it drive the car. You schedule your rumination. Give yourself 30 minutes to write, cry, pace, scream into a pillow if you must. And then you engage with something else. You work, you walk, you call a friend, you lift weights, you read, you cook. You don't numb endlessly. You don't inflame constantly. You allow the wound to breathe without picking at it. It also means refusing the easy stories that poison you. I was never enough. She always wanted someone better. All women are like this. These are protective stories that keep you from vulnerability by flattening the world. Don't let your pain turn you into a cynic. Keep your heart intact, even if it hurts. Because a closed heart prevents future joy as effectively as it protects you from future pain, and that's too high a price. Attachment theory offers a useful lens here, not as a diagnostic tool for her, but as a mirror for you. If you tend toward anxious attachment, this kind of rejection can feel existential. It can trigger an inner alarm so loud that you'll want to protest, plead, and pursue to restore connection at any cost. If you lean avoidant, you might try to shut down completely, dismiss your feelings, and tell yourself you never cared that much anyway. What if, instead, you used this moment as exposure therapy for secure attachment? Secure people feel deeply but trust themselves to survive. They don't chase, and they don't close off. They choose boundaries and self-soothing. They find comfort in reciprocity, not in winning the unwinnable. You did not choose this loss, but you can choose the frame. This happened to me. Keeps you still. This happened, and here's what I'm doing with it. Moves you forward. Your narrative identity, the way you tell your life story, shapes your resilience. Be honest about the wound, but write yourself as the protagonist who learns, adapts, and opens again. What letting go actually looks like in practice. It's one thing to nod along and another to live it. Letting go is a set of small, repeated actions that slowly change your inner weather. You stop checking her social media. You may need to mute, unfollow, or block for a while, not to punish, but to protect. Exposure to reminders keeps the wound open. Healing likes boundaries. You avoid places you know you'll see her and him together until you no longer feel like collapsing. There is no virtue in white-knuckling triggers. Courage is not putting yourself in harm's way. It's knowing when to step back so you can step forward later. You remove keepsakes from daily view. You don't have to burn the letters or erase the photos if that feels too dramatic, but you can put them in a box and place the box somewhere out of sight. Ritual helps. You can say, "These memories mattered, but my life is moving." You write a letter you never send. Say everything. Thank her for what was good. Name what wasn't. Admit your hurt and release her. Then set the letter aside or tear it up. The point is expression, not communication. You build a routine anchored in motion and meaning. Mornings are powerful. Water, sunlight, movement, something nourishing. One task accomplished early. It's hard to ruminate when you're in motion with purpose. You expand your circle. Grief shrinks your world. You counteract that by widening it. Join a class, go to a meetup, volunteer, travel with friends, say yes to invitations you'd usually decline. Not to move on instantly, but to remember you're more than a relationship status. You talk to someone neutral. Therapy isn't only for crisis, it's a gym for your mind. A good therapist will help you see patterns, integrate lessons, and regulate the somatic residue of heartbreak. You set a personal policy. No triangulating, no revenge, no public airing, no passive-aggressive posts. Those acts feel like action, but hollow you out. You're playing a long game. Your character is your legacy. The masculine mythology that hurts you. Depending on your circles, you may encounter competing scripts. One says to fight for her, to stand outside her window in a grand gesture to prove you're the one. Another says to shut down, harden, and level up, so she regrets it. Both are traps. Grand gestures work in movies because the choice is already made. In real life, they often cross boundaries and respectively override consent. If she has chosen someone else, your performance won't change her mind. It will likely cement her choice. Love is not persuasive. It's reciprocal. The "I'll show her" script seems empowering but is quietly corrosive. It ties your development to someone who is no longer in your life. It will distort your goals and make your success taste like ash. Level up for you. Become someone you respect regardless of who is watching. Between those myths is a steadier masculinity. Grounded, self-possessed, emotionally literate, capable of deep love and dignified loss. It's the kind that earns trust because it doesn't force it. It knows that heartbreak is not a challenge to your masculinity, but a testament to your humanity. What about closure, contact, and the possibility of coming back? Closure is rarely something another person gives you. If she wanted you, she would have chosen you. If she didn't, her reasons won't set you free. You can close your own door. That doesn't require anger. It requires acceptance. As for contact, consider a clean break for at least a few months. If you have entanglements, shared lease, pets, logistics, handle them efficiently, perhaps with a third party or in writing. If you must communicate, keep it factual and brief. Do not use logistics to smuggle in emotional bids. Could she come back? Perhaps. But clinging to that possibility is a way of refusing to live. If, in the future, circumstances change and she reaches out, you can meet that moment then as a person who has grown, not as someone who has waited. Paradoxically, the only path that preserves any future possibility is the one that genuinely lets go in the present. Learning without self-blame. Every relationship is a classroom. When one ends, especially in a way that stings, self-interrogation can turn into self-indictment. Resist the urge to assign yourself a permanent guilty verdict. Instead, ask fair questions. Where did I abandon myself to keep the connection? Where did I ignore my own non-negotiables? Did I communicate clearly or expect mind reading? Did I avoid conflict until small problems became big? Did I choose someone who was unavailable because that felt familiar? Did I rush, cling, or test? Did I give love the way I liked to receive it or the way she did? These questions are not meant to beat yourself up. They're tools. You answer them to upgrade your patterns, to align your choices with your values, and to select future partners who better fit your life. If, for example, you learn that you fear being alone and so miss red flags, you can build a life so full that you never need a relationship to fill a void. Love thrives not in scarcity, but in abundance. The body keeps score. Regulate it. Heartbreak is physiological. Your stomach drops because stress hormones surge. Your chest tightens because your nervous system toggles into threat detection. Your sleep shatters because your brain is on watch duty. Addressing heartbreak purely in your head is like changing the oil without filling the tank. Bring your body into the healing. Get sunlight early in the day to anchor your circadian rhythm. Move daily, walks, lifting, yoga, anything that makes your blood move and your mind quiet. Eat actual meals. Low blood sugar fuels anxiety. Limit alcohol. It bluntly amplifies sadness and disrupts sleep. Consider breath work. Long exhales signal safety to your nervous system. Try a cold rinse at the end of showers to reset your state. These are small levers with outsized impact. Your body also needs safe connection. Be with people who are glad to see you. Let your friends feed you, distract you, sit in silence with you. Humans regulate together. If you don't have that network, build it now. Start where you are, with small invitations and low-stakes gatherings. Be careful of story you tell about women. It's tempting to universalize one person's choice into a worldview. Women always leave for someone richer. Loyalty is dead. Kindness gets you nowhere. These stories build walls that feel protective and leave you lonely. The reality is that people are mixed, messy, and motivated by a complex brew of fear, hope, desire, and history. You can keep your standards high without painting half the world with a single brush. Adopt a standard that is both tender and firm. I will meet people with openness, and I will exit relationships that do not meet my needs with grace. I will not demonize, and I will not grovel. I will stay kind, and I will be clear. This stance makes you magnetic to the right kind of person and immune to the wrong kind of drama. The paradox of letting go. It grows you. When you let go, you immediately confront space. Empty evenings, quiet weekends, the sudden slack in routines that were once shared. Fill that space with intentional reconstruction. Audit your life. What habits were on autopilot? What dreams did you set aside to fit the relationship? What friendships atrophied? What parts of yourself did you quiet down? Create a list of things you have been putting off. Maybe you used to draw, produce music, ride, read long novels, climb, cook elaborate meals, learn languages, study philosophy, or mentor younger guys coming up behind you. Pick two. Commit for 90 days. Tie your identity not to a relationship, but to a web of pursuits that make your life rich with or without a partner. At the same time, soften where you can. Hardness will try to take root. You can be firm in your boundaries and soft in your heart. Practice generosity in small, safe ways. Share time, hold doors, tip well, smile. This isn't performative virtue. It's proof to yourself that you're not letting pain calcify you. An honest look at jealousy. Jealousy is a three-part emotion: fear of loss, anger at the perceived threat, and sadness for what's slipping away. It sharpens your focus on the other man until he becomes a villain or an obsession. Notice the mental montage, his imagined advantages, your imagined shortcomings, the lousy highlight reel manufactured by your brain to torment you. Interrupt it. When you catch yourself comparing, come back to your lane. He is not your project. He is not your competition. You don't need to invent a narrative that makes sense of the choice by inflating him or shrinking you. You need to return to the only arena you actually control: your character, your craft, your community, your care. And remember this, you know only the outside of other people's relationships. What looks like a win from the sidewalk can be complicated indoors. You are not waiting for their breakup. You're building your life. Forgiveness as a power move. Forgiveness is a word that can feel like surrender. It is not. Forgiveness does not endorse what happened. It does not invite a repeat. It does not require reconciliation. It is a strategy for reclaiming your energy from the past. When you forgive, you essentially say, I refuse to spend my finite life force on resentment. You choose peace over an argument you have with yourself in the shower every day. This takes time. Start by noticing where bitterness spikes. Name it. Breathe through it. Wish her well in the abstract if you can, or at least wish yourself well. One day you'll think of the whole situation and feel a smaller sting, then a dull ache, then neutrality. That's forgiveness doing its quiet work. Dating again without using someone as a bandage. At some point, you will feel the urge to date again. Move thoughtfully. Rebounds can be tempting because they promise immediate relief. But people aren't painkillers. Going on a gentle coffee date is fine if you can be kind, honest, and present. But if you're still checking her feed, still composing arguments you'd deliver if you ran into her, still haunted daily, give yourself more time. When you do date, bring your lessons. Lead with clarity about what you value. Emotional availability, shared rhythm of life, aligned goals, reciprocal effort. Ask better questions. Listen for the answers. Choose someone because of who they are, not because of what they're not. And don't change yourself to be chosen. Healthy love is mutual choosing. You're not selling a product, you're meeting a person. Be yourself, not the shape you think will fit. What to do with the good memories you have. One fear of letting go is that you'll lose the good times too. That moving on means pretending the laughter, the tenderness, the private language, the inside jokes never existed. You don't have to erase them. You can hold them as real and still walk away. You can be grateful for the chapter and still close the book. In time, those memories will stop being knives and start being postcards from a place you visited and won't live again. That's not tragedy. That's life. We are a collection of places we've loved and people who taught us more about ourselves than we could have learned alone. If you share children or deep entanglements, sometimes letting go isn't simple. If you share children, property, or an intertwined life, you can't just vanish. Here, letting go looks like boundaries with cooperation. You create stable routines for the kids. Communicate logistics on a need-to-know basis, use written channels when emotions run hot, and resist the urge to litigate the relationship in exchanges about school pickups. Your dignity becomes the environment your children grow up in. They watch how you handle loss. They learn from your regulation, your steadiness, and your refusal to vilify. That legacy is worth more than a win in a text thread. If you're dividing assets or navigating legal processes, get professional guidance. Keep your counsel measured. Don't let momentary anger cost you years of stability. This is unglamorous, patient work, but it will secure your future self more than any grand speech ever could. There is a quiet courage of starting fresh. There will be a day, maybe sooner than you expect, when you notice that your first thought in the morning is not her. You'll realize you went several hours without the weight on your chest. A song you avoided will play, and you'll feel something like nostalgia instead of the old wound. You'll walk into a room you once shared and see it as yours. And then you'll laugh at something silly, the real kind of laughter that isn't effortful, and you'll think, I made it through. That day doesn't come because you fought harder for someone who didn't choose you. It comes because you fought for yourself. It comes because you let go, deliberately, imperfectly, consistently. It's the kind of courage no one applauds because it doesn't look heroic on the outside. But it's the most human kind of heroism, continuing, rebuilding, staying open. A brief guide you can keep in your pocket. If you need a short list to return to when the waves hit, try this. Accept the fact. She chose someone else. Don't argue with reality. Your power begins where your denial ends. Choose dignity. One heartfelt message at most, then silence. No chasing, no triangulating, no theater. Protect your mind. Block. Let time and distance do their job. Move your body and anchor your days. Sunlight, movement, decent food, sleep, and one meaningful task each morning. Speak to people who care. Friends, family, a therapist. Borrow their calm when yours is low. Learn without shaming yourself. Identify patterns, set new standards, and apply them next time. Keep your heart soft and your boundaries firm. Refuse bitterness. Practice kindness with discernment. Build a bigger life. Add pursuits, skills, and communities so you don't collapse your identity into any one relationship. Forgive to free yourself, not to reconcile, but to reclaim your energy. Date again when you are ready. Not to prove anything, not to replace, but to genuinely connect. Final thoughts. If she chooses another man, let her go. Not because you're weak, but because you're strong enough to stand where you are, to face the truth without theatrics, to honor yourself without punishing her, and to invest your life where it will yield love in return. Letting go is not the end of your story. It's the turning of a page. Your life is bigger than this moment. Somewhere ahead is a version of you who is grateful for the lessons, grounded in his values, surrounded by people who cherish him, and in love again, not as a replacement, but as a new chapter with its own weather and light. Walk toward him. He becomes real with every step you take away from what isn't yours and toward what is. What are your thoughts? Leave them in the comments. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel and help others find our empowering videos. Thank you for your support.